Hello and welcome to another edition of Victor Alunge on real estate. My name is Victor Alunge, your anchor on this program. This week we will be looking at the relationship among professionals in the built environment and actually its impact on our product. The industry is actually very, very important to national development in terms of our fiscal development, even in terms of getting, the nation to have breakthrough in other areas of the economy. But it is important we understand that the chemistry and the relationship among professionals will be very important in actually getting the best results from the nation's investment in that industry. We operate in an industry that is key to our economy, and as a matter of fact, on the average, the industry contributes about 8 to 9% to our GDP. And if you look at it, in spite of the massive underdevelopment of the industry and lack of optimal operation, it still contributes about 9% to the economy. And that's actually more than what oil contributes to our GDP. But if you look at the potential that the industry has, we would all agree that that potential can only be actualized if professionals within the industry, which are actually the driving force behind this development, work together, approach their operation, their contribution to the industry in a way that actually engender, necessary synergy and produce, adequate result. I'm looking at projects, for instance, because industry contribution on the macro level starts from macro involvement. I've seen projects developed and the ultimate result is actually not what was conceived originally in terms of cost, overrun, in terms of, not delivering on the pre-investment objectives. And it can actually be pinned down to the lack of chemistry, lack of synergy, among professionals. We have professionals, out of rivalry, try to undermine themselves, undue claim to superiority, and so on and so forth. The truth of the matter is that on any project, every professional is important. We have the architects, we have the engineers, we have the quantity surveyors, we have the land surveyors. On any project, you have the estate surveyors and valuers, and everybody has his own role to play. And playing this role as expected will have, the needed impact on the project. It can only lead to success. If you look at most of abandoned projects or projects that actually record very high cost overrun, you will see some element of, lack of cooperation among professionals, mutual suspicion, lack of respect for structures, and so on and so forth. But if we can actually get over this, we know that, architecture was probably the first, and engineering. But the truth of the matter is that the world has developed, and we have various specialization, various professional areas, and individuals trained, to ensure that the whole project, for instance, becomes a success. And none of these professionals' role can be diminished. So it is important we all appreciate that. I have seen on projects where project managers were appointed, and unfortunately the architect kicked against it, or the engineers kicked against it, because they were not made the project manager. But that shouldn't be the case, to be honest with you. The role of project managers on projects will have to, professionals need to actually understand it even more, because on any project, the truth of the matter is that the architect remains the leader of the design team. No compromise. There is nothing that will change that. But when it comes to project management, because of the nature of project management, which is not just technical but also financial, except we are talking of public sector projects where commercial consideration is not really the main focus. Yeah, then you can dispense with that. When you are talking about private sector, commercially driven, project development, where the finance, the bottom line is key. Then you have a project manager who is wearing two caps, technical and commercial consideration. Therefore, it is not going to be adequate to say, yes, we have an architect or we have an engineer to wear this cap. No. So on projects where we have full complement of professionals, it is important that professionals work together. A lot of negative incidences that we have in the built environment, whether building collapse or whatever, if you look at it critically, there must have been some element of compromise, within the setup, and that is not actually good for our industry. The industry has potential. 9% that we contribute currently to GDP is not our optimum. We need to work together to ensure that we increase this gradually, probably on a yearly basis, to 10, 11, 12, even up to 15. Nothing stops us from doing that. We have the capacity. We've talked about our poor infrastructure state. Project development will actually help us, and the built environment is a fertile ground for ensuring that the nation develops in the right direction. So professionals need to actually work together. We need to work together. We need to understand ourselves. We need to synergize so that at the end of the day, we'll have an industry that we'll be proud of. There is enough there for everybody. Everybody's role is there. And nobody can successfully take over the other's role. So let us learn to work together. The built industry is unique, and we can make it even better. This is all we have time for on this week's edition of Victor Alonge on Real Estate. I hope you've had a great time with us. Please don't forget to actually give us your feedback on what you feel and how you think we can make the program even better. You have our addresses, our contact on our social media platform that is displayed at the end of this program. Until I come your way next week, please continue to keep safe. Goodbye.